I know you want to buy out there in life. You're a consumer just like me. If you're a buyer like me, then you have got to watch this video. Like, I want to spend some money, like, make it rain, make it rain, make it rain on Depop. Make it rain, make it rain, make it rain on Depop. I want to spend some money. I want to spend some money. I want to be broke. Yes, I want to be broke, but stylish from shopping on the Depop. This video is all about tips for the buyer. If you're a buyer, because I know that I'm a buyer and that most of you folks out there in the world are buyers, I got some tips for you guys. When you on the Depop and you about to buy, don't just buy quite yet. Listen and watch these tips because there's a lot of good information in here. I'm a buyer and I'm a seller, so I'm going to tell you what I have learned along my Depop journey, along the way. I've paved that way for you guys. Tip number one for you guys is don't just hit that buy button. Don't just automatically buy. Don't do it. Here's my reason why. There are inactive sellers on Depop. Yes, I know, it's crazy. Their shops should be taken down or they should inform us and let us know. But do they? But do they? They do not. Guys, don't just hit that buy button, okay? So what you're gonna wanna do is message the seller first. You need to do this because this seller could potentially be inactive, but their shop is still up and open for the world's viewing pleasure to see. But just because a shop is up does not mean that it's open and it's running successfully. So guys, message that seller. When you message that seller and that seller responds to you, great, you know that seller is active, they want to make a sale, they want to get rid of that item. Great, that's a beautiful thing. If you message that seller first, and that seller never responds back to you, do not buy at all. Red flag, ding, red flag, ding. I have little flags on my fingers, so my flags are waving. My red flags are waving in the air. Guys, don't do it. Don't you dare do it. Now, there are some people who just take a gamble, right? They take a gamble on the Depop train and they say, I'm just gonna buy. We'll just roll the dice and see what happens. There are those folks. I am not one of those folks. I want to make sure that as a buyer, I know that that seller is communicative, that that seller is 100% active. You might ask yourself, well, how the heck is there a way to know if there's an inactive seller if I don't message them? That is a great question. So under the photo of the item that that person is selling, it will say under there, this seller is inactive. So that's great. It actually tells us. So when you see that, you go, back it up, back off. I am not buying from that person. But if no one reports that seller is being inactive, then their shop is going to look like it is open and ready for someone to purchase, when in actuality, it is not. So what I do as a seller, I put in my description, message me before buying. And it lets you know that that's what I want as a seller, because I don't want you to just straight up and buy. I want to know, okay, this is someone who is interested. Maybe we could potentially make a deal. We can negotiate. So there are some reasons as to why I want these folks to message me as a seller. And you should want to message the seller as a buyer. Tip number two, guys, haggle, discounts, deals, and negotiate with your seller. You don't know until you try. Now, some sellers might absolutely hate this. I happen to like this because I want to get rid of my stuff. So I'm down to make deals. I am down to negotiate. If a seller is not, they will tell you in the description of that item or somewhere in their policies page or somewhere on another post, they will say no trades, no haggling, you know, price is firm. They will tell you these things. If they don't tell you these things and it says nothing about it, then I say it is free reign. Message that seller because odds are they want to get rid of that item. They're selling it for a reason. So take a chance. All they can say is, what did your mother tell you when you were a kid? No. That's all they can say. No, I'm not doing it. Now, you could potentially offend someone and, you know, that's par for the course. You can take a chance. I've done this many a time. I've done it and I've heard nothing but crickets on the other end, like okay, that seller is clearly not a haggler. And then I have had sellers where I've bought an item and they're like, I'll come down $3 or I'll come down $5 or I'll come down $10. You know, so take the chance. if you don't see anything about price is firm, no negotiating, or anything like that. So what you want to do as a buyer, if you do want to negotiate, what I would do is put in the search bar BOGO, BOGO, BOGO free, BOGO 50% off. If someone is having a sale, odds are they want to clear out their inventory and they're ready to make a deal. Or put in the description box discount, clearance, negotiate, deals. Put in those keywords, and anyone who tagged their post with those keywords are ready to negotiate with you. So that's a great way. If you're not sure and you just don't want to, you know, out of the blue message a seller and have them be mad at you for trying to haggle with them, then look for the sellers where they put those keywords in so that you know you can get your haggle on. Tip number 3, read your seller's reviews. I can't tell you how extremely important that is. Do not skip this very important detail, and I'll tell you why. So there were a couple different sellers with various items that I really liked, and I was like, oh, okay, I think I'm gonna buy this. And I was like, before I buy that, let me just look at their reviews. So I looked at them and, okay, 4.5 stars or 3 stars. And I go in and I see what people have to say. And that is very, very important. If you have like 80% of the people saying, item never shipped out, I never got my item, I had to keep messaging the seller, bad communication, I had to open up a claim, back the boop off, okay? Don't even go there. Don't go there. I'm just telling you now, I am not about to go into a bad zone of a bad review seller. Hell no. I don't care how much I like that item. If all these people are saying, I didn't get it, they're not shipping for all these various reasons, bye-bye. 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 I'm gone. Okay, so that's why it's so very important to read reviews. Not only for the bad reviews, but for the positive reviews. So there's a lot of good ones on there. Shipped fast. My item came quickly. The seller threw in some free gifts. I love the card the seller wrote. I'll be recommending again. So there's also a positive train that we're writing here, not just a negative train, guys. But there's a positive train. Doot, doot. Yes, and on that positive train, there are beautiful comments that you need to read to see how fast the seller ships out, all the amazing, wonderful attributes that the seller has. So read the reviews for the negative and the positive so that you can gather a better understanding of the seller and the product to see if that is something that you do truly want to purchase. Tip number 4, guys, ask questions. I cannot tell you how important this tip is. Do not take the product image and what the description says at face value and just be like, oh, okay, cool, I think it'll work out. Do not do that. If you need more pics, guys, if you need another image of that photo, because on Depop there are only 4 images that they allowed the seller to upload, which is kind of a bummer. They just introduced a new video feature, which is terrific. But back in the day, before that video feature was available, and guess what? Even though it is available, some sellers may still not use that video feature, and they may still only upload 4 still pics of that item. If you are questioning, which I have done before, I have been in question about an item, what I do is I message the seller and I say, okay, can you give me the measurements of the sleeves, of the width, of the length of this item? And can you show me some other photos? So ask for measurements if those measurements were not provided, and ask for more pictures. So what that seller can do is make an additional post adding 4 more pictures and or a video in there so that you can see the full item, and they can be like this in the video. So you could see how it, it moves, how it stretches, whatever the item is. You can see how big it is because it's hard to sort of gather in a photo. So ask that seller, can I see a video of that particular product? That way it'll help me to gauge it and get a better sense of it. So ask questions as far as measurements go, ask to see more photos, and ask your little life away. Because guys, it's truly going to help you make your final decision as to if you're going to buy that product or not. Tip number 5, guys. Prepare to be let down. Prepare to be let down, guys. Because guess what? You are going to be let down. And it's just a part of the process. I know. Hold on a minute. Guys, you're going to be let down. You're going to be let down when you get your product because of a number of reasons. A, the color does not match the photo. And let me tell you, that happened to me, but I still love the product, and it didn't matter if the color was red or pink or tie-dyed or whatever, because the product freaking rocked, that I was not going to leave a negative review because the color was red, and in actuality it was pink when I got it. I like pink, so I'm cool with that. But if you were really having your heart set that, oh, it really showing red in the picture, that's exactly what I want, and that is not what you get, and it's pink in real life, in person. Be prepared to be let down if you hate the color pink. So then you can leave a bad review if you want, and you can be like, color didn't match, I was super disappointed. Or if you were like me, oh my god, this product is freaking amazing. I didn't even mention the color. So it depends on the buyer, on what you're looking for, but that is something that happened to me. Color was totally off. Be prepared to be let down on the sizing. We would like to think that these sellers have their act together when it comes to sizing, that some people know the difference between a large, an extra large, a medium, a small, but guess what? These are just people. These aren't experts out there in the world. This is just Joe Schmo who works at the grocery store down the street. This is Joe Blow, who's an admin assistant who does Depop on the side. These are just regular ass folks. And guess what? They are not experts, and stuff is bound to get bad. To get bad, to go wrong. Yes, to go wrong. Guys, I ordered a pair of jeans, and the seller did not tell me they were a youth size 16. The seller told me the measurements that were my measurements, and then I got these pants and I was like, these are like child pants. So the measurements were completely jacked and wrong. The seller lied on the measurements. So be prepared for people that can't measure and who will potentially deceive you, because those folks are out there. Also, you're gonna get items that are too big. That is what happened to me. I got a jacket and it's freaking amazing, and you will be seeing that in an upcoming haul, but it was a 22-24. I mean, this is like plus size, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not my size. So what I had to do was take it into a tailor so that the tailor could shrink it to my size, because I still liked it and I was going to work with it. The pictures can be deceiving, and I thought this jacket was an actual like ski jacket, but it turned out to be a windbreaker. So the descriptions are not always correct. This never said windbreaker in the description, it said jacket. So that is what I was assuming that I was going to get based off of the images. And again, I left that seller a great review because I loved the item and I wanted it, and I knew I could work with it and get it tailored. So for me, okay, I just knew going into this that I am prepared to be let down on some level, because it's gonna happen to you guys. It's gonna happen. Too big, too small, wrong color, measurements are off. Every single one of those has happened to me, guys. Yes, it has. So be prepared for that. You can't go into this saying, oh, everything's wonderful and roses. You're not Cinderella, okay? This isn't like some fairy tale world where everything is gonna be perfect and magical and everything's just gonna work out as it should, okay? It just doesn't happen. We would like it to, but that's not really the case. So be prepared to be let down, because it will happen to you. I hope these tips were helpful to you and you and you and you and you. I hope that these tips were very helpful. I hope that these will come in handy if you're a buyer. Don't be scared if you want to be a buyer on Depop, okay? So there's a lot of amazing deals, great sellers, amazing items. Just be prepared for the good and the bad. Okay, so that's all, guys. That's all I got. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again in my next video, and I'm definitely gonna make a tips for the seller video. So if you want to view that and watch it, do so, everybody. Goodbye. Goodbye to you. Bye. Do not, and I repeat, do not. Remember what I said about your mother when she said no? No, don't do that. Just think of me about you. But just think of me. Think of me as your mother throughout this whole journey. Okay. Where was I going with that? I had a point. Oh my god! My tangent made me forget. Ah! Alright, hold on. Simmer down. Let me just think about this for a moment. I remember.